welcome everybody. Welcome to our talk today, The Hitchhiker's Guide to a Great Developer Career. My name is Helen Scott. I'm a developer advocate over at JetBrains, and I am joined today by...
My name is Sven, and I'm a DevOps advocate at Atlassian. So we have made some career moves during our work time, actually. And I want to start with some career moves that didn't work out very, very great, to just like pave the road to just like see afterwards some great career moves, or how you can make some great career moves, or just like how can you build your developer career. So you might remember this guy, right? Nicolas Cage. Yeah, I was actually a huge fan in the 90s, right? Nicolas Cage.
The Rock.
The Rock.
Right?
Con Air. What great movies were there, right? And then I think sometimes around the 2000s, something went wrong with Nicolas Cage. I don't know, but he took some roles that were very bad career moves. Actually, it went so far that now when I see there's a movie with Nicolas Cage, I said, probably not going to watch it. Not going to be the best movie. Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses. Big fan also. I was a big fan of Guns N' Roses in the 90s. Great rock band. So during my research, I just found out why the band is named Guns N' Roses. I didn't know, actually, even though I was a huge fan. And if I heard it, it just came oh yeah, sure. Axl Rose, Roses. Terry Guns, Guns. So Guns N' Roses. So Terry Guns was one of the founding members of Guns N' Roses. But where's Terry Guns now? So he left actually the band right before they had their breakthrough. And they played stadiums and were super successful. So actually he got replaced then by Slash, and we know that story. So also I don't know the backstory about what happens to Terry Guns, but from the outside, I must say that's maybe not the best career move, right? You never know. The next goes with just without words, right? Ronaldo. I don't know. Not the best career move.
Those certainly are quite some stories. Yeah, thank you. But, Sven's taken us through some careers that perhaps didn't work out quite as well as intended. But we're here today to talk about your career and great developer careers. And careers, they have a start, a middle, very long middle usually, and an end where you skid into retirement and go, well, that was fun. But we also have different motivators, and we don't normally know which way our career is going to go to a certain extent. So we might move because we want a different role, or we want more seniority, or we want to work with a different technology. There are so many. We want to work in a different industry. But no matter what your motivator is or where your career takes you, one thing is for certain. It's not. Hope is not a strategy. I'm so sorry. Trust me, I've tried. But don't panic, because careers are journeys. They can be hard, they can be easy, they can be fun, they can be not so fun. You will take some wrong turns. We've certainly taken a few wrong turns in our careers, haven't we? We were collecting up our job titles the other day, from kind of developer through to VP of product marketing, right? Technical writing, developer advocates, DevOps advocate. I didn't even know that was a thing. But we're not here to talk about our careers. We're here to talk about great developer careers. Tell us about some great developer careers, Sven.
Yeah, we'd love to. You may not heard of Judith Astrid, but Judith actually was one of the inventors of the TCP/IP protocol back in the 70s. So she was working actually with a group on the TCP/IP protocol. So very technical, very down to the bit level. She was working on that. Then she founded some companies, quite successful. Actually, her last company that she founded got acquired by Cisco. And she went with this acquisition and eventually became the CTO of Cisco. So think about that, just from really down to the bit level TCP/IP protocol to just managing thousands of engineers. What a great developer career Judith had. You may know this guy here, right? Linus Torvald. Well, Linus has never managed anyone, and I think it is for the better if you are on the Linux mailing list. He's really not good at with his people skills. But he is actually the inventor of Linux, right? So just like, and still the main contributor to the Linux kernel. He decides what goes in, what goes out. And also, like, by the way, he also invented Git. So, but what he actually did, he figured out, like, yeah, I have to work on my people skills. I have to up the game. I have to just like enhance my career and work on that. So he just went away from the Linux mailing list for a while and worked on this. So he just like. Also, he just worked on his developer career. Great developer career, not a manager, but still great developer career. Now, normally, what happens to us when we are just like coming from university or so, our career path looks like this, right? We start as a junior developer. Yeah, great. And the first 1-2 years, we just like so excited about the new technology and the stuff that we are learning, and then we look out. So what is actually the next step? So we feel a little bit like, okay, coding, I feel like mature, I feel like safe here, but what's next, right? Then when we look up maybe to the next level, whatever is the next level in your company, and a lot of companies, the next level is then the senior dev. So the senior dev, much more responsibility. He sits, or they sit, he or she sits at the table, with where decisions are made, and you really look up and you want to be that person. You said, okay, yeah, it's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I just like want to go there. I want to also just like make these technical decisions and be the go-to person. So then you work towards becoming a senior developer, right? And once you get this senior developer, yeah, you have to learn a little bit how to deal with all those things and advise people. And then you get also here mature. And then what's the next step in your career? Right, the engineering manager. So just like going to management, become an engineering manager, just like one level up, right? And then you just like have more responsibility, take care of the people in your organization or in your team. And then the next step is, we know, maybe director of engineering or VP of engineering, all those things. So why do we promote our developers actually to engineering managers, right? There are some good reasons why we do this. So these people are actually become technical advisors. They help others on a technical level. Then also they become mentors for people just like to enhance maybe their careers or whatever, getting better in things. People follow their leadership. They are natural leaders. People follow their leadership. And also, they lead by example. They don't have the power to lead, but they lead by example. So it's all great manager skills, right? And then also, they are domain expert. They don't know the domain. They know the technology. So that's a great combination to become an engineering manager. So what we do is actually, we promote our great, good programmers or engineers to managers. We're not only doing that, right? We're not just like taking our good managers, we also get our bad programmers and promote them to management. Don't get me wrong, they can be pretty brilliant in managing, they can be just like bad programmers, but really great managers, right? Because programmers and managers are two different things, right? Even though we may want to go there. But there's actually, we need to be clear that this steps we just like move into something different. Of course, we have our experience in software development that helps us to manage a software team. But you need to all of a sudden just like grow the team. Like, where do you invest? Like the back end, the front end developer, where do you want to just like invest and hire people? Hiring people is a different kind of beast that you're all of a sudden responsible for. And then also you need to motivate the team. Even the times are hard, you need to just like keep up working. It's great, we're gonna do great. I know it's like hard at the moment, but we're gonna be out of that. So you need to keep up the motivation in the team. And you need to lead the team. You need to just like drag them along and just like say, we're going in that direction. Come with me, follow me as a leader. And that's when I became actually a team manager, was the hardest thing for me. It's like resolving conflicts. It's great if everything is just like working well. There's unicorns and rainbows everywhere, and we have fun together, great. But once there's a conflict, that's pretty hard to deal with, and that's you have to do as a manager. So not every developer wants to become a manager, but every developers may want to just like enhance their careers, right? So I see it more like there's a branch, right? It's a different branch actually that we take when we go down the manager career path. But companies have actually, or seem to now like figure out that, okay, we need to also have a different career path for developers. And they come up with that career path, right? Staff engineer, principal engineer, distinguished engineer. Probably for larger companies, maybe if you're working in a smaller company, there's just like the staff, principal, or whatever you call this engineer. It's super different from company to company. And these things, these roles pop up everywhere now. So I didn't know actually what's the difference between those, because you can see like in job advertisement that people are looking for these roles all of a sudden. And that's probably more like the last 5-6 years that we see this is more a thing that we promote our developers, our senior developers, into these kind of roles. So I wanted to find out actually what is the difference between these different roles. And there is no right and wrong because, as I said, like companies treat those differently. But I talked to a lot of staff, principal, and distinguished engineers to find out like, what are you responsible for? What's the difference between these different roles? So let's start with a staff engineer. A staff engineer normally works not for one team, but works across teams and helps with improving the development process, looks across teams, like how can we improve that. They are very, very technical, knowledgeable on the technical side, so they still also help with architectural decisions and dive deep into technical problems, so still very down to the code level and help align the goals between those engineering teams. So they help that because they understand the technical side of things very well. So they can help pretty well align those goals. So still very much on the code level, help on the code level. So a principal engineer is more one level up on the product level and helps like align with their technical knowledge to bring the product forward. So they just like align the product with the product vision with the technical vision that the organization has. They plan for improvements and message the org needs. So they explain like where the product is going and then make what decision do we need to do on a code level. How do we want to change the code level because the product is moving in that direction? Also with scale and performance, it's not about like how do we scale this new feature that we have, but look at in 1-2 years we want to be with the product right there. What does that mean for the technology? How do we scale that in terms of technology? And then you come to the distinguished engineer, and that is actually more on a business level. So they help actually the leadership team to make the right decisions. So they advise the leadership team. And just to get you wrong, for example, Google has distinguished engineers, but they say like all of their distinguished engineer probably fit in a small room. So this is really a rare role. Maybe your company just like could have fit for one distinguished engineer or whatever you call this. They are also often the public speaker. They go out and speak, and they follow industry trends and bring that back into the organization. But they still technical people and solve the very complex problems. So these are career moves that companies offer these days, the staff, principal, and distinguished engineer. So this is one way to go, but there's more, right? Maybe you want to use your technical skills and want to leave Planet Programming, but still your knowledge, take that with you and benefit from them. And they're still coding in other places, right? Did I say Planet?
Oh, you did.
Space.
Do you have to? Oh, I'm sorry,
right.
Again.
All right, space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the enterprise developer. Let's explore strange new worlds, to seek out new jobs and opportunities, to boldly go where no developer has gone before. Are you ready? I take you on the journey, right? Because you know what? There is a whole developer universe out there. It's not just like programming all day long. You can just like do more things. You can start with programming, and you can expand to other areas of the business, like the operation, the product, the customer. And if you look at that in product, maybe you want to use your skills and become a QA engineer and help developers to just like do better quality analysis of what the code they've written. Or you become a product manager because you want to work closer to the product. Still, your knowledge in software development helps you to make great decisions on the product. It's really valuable. Or you want to go into operations and become, I don't know, a site reliability engineer because you want to have the thrill of fixing things in production, right? Or you want to do research and become data engineer, security engineer, or you want to move closer to the customer. That's also a possibility. Just like become a technical account manager or even technical recruiter. Your skills in software development helps also recruiting more developers if you're working in a bigger organization. Or promotion, developer marketing manager, or like we do, developer advocate, which is not only promotion, it's also, we also write blog posts and do videos, so we're also in the teaching area, and you want to maybe become technical writer, like Helen, you were a technical writer, right?
I was, yeah, many years.
Yeah, so you see, there's so much out there, so much to discover out there, right? And you can just like decide if you just like want to stay where you are and become very go down the technical lane, or just like mix that up with something. You can move also sideways. So I've built up this repository of actually roles and different roles in tech. You can just like go there. You can make a pull request if you don't agree with my definition of some of the roles, or you can just like ask me to add something to a pull request for that. It's up in the open, and yeah, you can use that. So, but how do you know, right? Now, let's say you want to become a product manager. Sounds like a cool thing. I love to work with the product managers. Maybe that's something for me. How do you find out? Like, you just don't just like want to go there and then say, that was not the thing that I wanted to do. You want to just like find out, like, is that the right thing? So there are a couple of things that I can recommend doing that some companies are offering, like a job internship, or just like ask if you can just like be an intern at in the product management group for just like a week or 2 weeks, to just like get a feeling of what's the daily looks like. Other companies call that job shadowing. So you just like follow people, you have fly on the wall, you just like sit in meetings and just like figure out a little bit like what is this job about. There needs to be not a whole program in your company. You can just like ask the organizations if you can just like go there and be there and attend the meetings, because you want to find out like what's the daily look like. What we do at Atlassian is job rotation. So if people are just like say, I want to try out different things, we send them on half a year job rotation. So they work for 2 months as a QA engineer, and then for 2 months as a site reliability engineer, and then for 2 months as a product manager. And then they come back to a developer and say, yeah, I'm pretty happy here. I don't want to move anywhere else, right? This developer is fine, right? Or they just decide, like, I become a site reliability engineer. That was cool. That was great. So no matter what you do, you have the choice to just like do it after the half year of your team. So just like what I wanted to get away with here is like a career path doesn't look like this. It's not junior, senior, manager. It goes much more in wiggle lines, right? Like this, and to try something out. Maybe you just like say, manager wasn't good for me. I just like want to go back. I know a lot of people did that. But what helped me actually to just like go into new roles is that people actually knew me. I'm a conference speaker. I'm on Twitter. I write blog posts. So that helped me also to just like say, hey. That would be a role that I would be interested in. What would you call that?
I think what you're talking about is building up your personal brand.
Oh, yeah.
You're kind of going along. And it's something that I think is really important and often overlooked when we're going through our day-to-day. So like, get up, go to work, and do the work, come home. And At some point, you're probably going to want to branch out. You're probably going to want to get a new job, like for all the motivators that I mentioned earlier on. So personal brands, before we kind of get into what one is or what they look like, first question that we really need to ask ourselves is, why do you even need one? And the answer that I have here is it can help you to stand out. Because, if you look around the room and you've been chatting to other people at conference, a lot of us share the same skills, the same technologies. We've been in the industry the same length of time. We might even have worked in the same place. And CVs start to look very similar. And sometimes when you're going for a new role, it can help to elevate yourself. It can help you with opportunities. It can help you with career progression. And it can just shine a spotlight on who you are. Because you're more than just a bunch of skills and a bunch of experience. You're so much more. And a personal brand can really help with that. So if that's why we're going to create a personal brand, how are we going to do that? And if this was kind of a two-way conversation, which I appreciate it's not, but I expect a lot of you might be thinking, I'd create a website. That's what I'd do. I'd create a website and I'd put stuff on it. And that's what I did. And it's an option, but I have learned it's not the best option. What I retrospectively wish I'd have done is I'd just taken a moment and taken a breath and stopped to think. And I say this because it's really important to stop and think about who you are, right? We might have similar skills and industry experience and all the rest of it, but we're very different, unique people. So who are you? What do you care about? What are you passionate about? What change do you want to be in this world? If you're feeling morbid, which maybe you are, it's the end of the day, what do you want on your tombstone? This is what you are authentic about. This is you. This is what you're passionate about. And this is your personal brand, not the website. So once you've got that and you understand who you are and what your brand is, now we can do some practicalities. Social media. The year is 2022, I think. Privacy is dead, sorry. Whether you love social media or you hate social media or you're somewhere in between like myself, the fact is we do coexist with it and it can be a very useful tool. And there's a whole range of platforms to choose from that I'm not going to go into, but there are a few things you... Are you on social media right now?
Yeah, I want to tweet like we're doing this talk here. Sure. Building my brand here. Let's do that.
I'll just wait for you, Sven. Yeah.
Come
All right.
on.
We're gonna just do this, right? This is.
Everyone wave.
Yay!
Oops.
He turned the camera around.
Yeah, no, we have to do it again. Right.
Wave.
Everyone wave. Hey. Great. All right. I need to.
Social media people. There are a few things you can do other than taking random selfies in the middle of conference talks. You can align your usernames because. Recruitment managers and equally people in the community, they want to find you and they want to engage with you. So you can align your username. If your name is very common, like, I don't know, Helen Scott, thanks husband, you can put a little bit of your middle name in there, Helen Joe Scott. You're Sven Pet everywhere, right?
I'm Sven Pet everywhere.
So, people can find you, they can interact with you. It makes things easier. Brand consistency. I don't mean a fancy palette of colors, like I said. Not a website, not a fancy palette of colors. Just align your brand, and I've got some examples for you. You can make a GitHub README. It's really easy. Even I managed it. So those are some things you can do on your social media. You can create content. This is something I'm very passionate about, which probably partly explains my job. You can create blogs. You can create videos. I'm a blog person. I do both, but I really like writing. Blogs are my thing. I consume by writing blogs. Videos. TikTok, I think I might be a little bit old for TikTok.
What are you saying? Old?
Well,
right?
Are you on TikTok?
Yeah, sure. You want to see my video?
Seriously?
My TikTok video? Yeah, I just did one video. You want to see it?
Yeah?
Okay.
All right. Well, you asked for this. Remember that.
All right. Let's
Here
see
we go.
Yeah, TikTok.
Should Sven stay on TikTok? Yeah.
Yeah. You see, not too old for TikTok.
Good point. Thank you. Right, we're going to have words about that.
Things to improve.
So, yeah, you can create content. Very, very powerful. And once you've got that content, you can share it with the community. Everybody here, for example. So communities are amazing. They are a wealth of information. They are somewhere that you can go, you can be involved, you can give back, you can share, you can learn, you can give talks, you can be mentored. I'm going to come on to that. But first, some examples. Many of you in the audience will know Tom Calls. If you don't, say hi to him when you see him. He's lovely. But I really like his Twitter profile because it's clean and it's simple and it's authentic. Tom's got up there what he's passionate about, what he cares about, and he's got signposts to where you can find more information out about him. GitHub profile. Good friend of mine, Isabel Costa. She's just put a GitHub README up there. It's great because it's simple, it's got signposts, and it says what she's passionate about. She's passionate about open source. She's passionate about Black Coder. Finally, blog on Medium from Sri Shapratha. She does excellent technical Java blogs. And I put this example up here for a reason, well, many reasons, but one is there's a myth that if you have to create content or you want to create content, you have to produce a blog a week or a video a month. And it's not true. You can just create content when you're ready to create content. And you don't need to be an expert. We all started writing Hello World. You can create content on whatever you want to create content on. Your learnings, your journeys, your successes, your failures. That's all great content that we can all learn from. And then you can go ahead and you can build your brand. And it's very similar to how you kind of start with your brand. You can just take it to the next level. So I've already mentioned content creation. Podcasts, that's a fun one. If you're ever invited to speak on a podcast, definitely do. It's a lot of fun. You can go to meetups. They don't just need to be big conferences like this. They can be smaller, local Java user groups. And if one doesn't exist in your home city, start one. A bit of a big hitter. You can write a book, but it's a big investment. It's a lot of effort. But for some people, this really is where they shine and where they enjoy being. So if that's your thing, go ahead, write a book. You could speak at conferences. You could come and do this. Again, it's a great way to learn, to give back, and to help others. It's a great way to network. So in summary, why? Why a personal brand? Because it can just help you to stand out. It's a really nice way for you to be authentic. And remember, you are so much more than just your jobs. And a personal brand can really showcase this. Because it can also show how far you've come. You know, if you've got a personal brand and you eventually have created the website, obligatory, you can look back at your journey. If you've been sharing content on that website, you can look back how far you've come, because it is such a fast-moving industry.
That's true. It's super fast-moving.
Yep.
It is, and you know, it's changing constantly. So software development is just like something that changes constantly. And you need to keep up with what's going on, right? And you're in the right place here to do that. But you know, there might be better tools out there that can help us. There might be new ways of working, how you can improve your ways of working, or your next technologies. So we need to constantly learn also to just like enhance our careers, to have more opportunities in our careers. But not only that, like, my day is already filled with sprinting. When should I learn, right? I'm in an agile team. I'm sprint the whole day. And there's no time to set time aside to read a book or something. Then I let the team down, right? But no matter what, we need time to train. We need to spend time on training too. We can't sprint all the time, right? Then we're just like totally exhausted at the end. We need to also just like to take time away to train and to become better, right? So what are companies offering? So companies offering like things like, okay, there's a bookshelf, right? You can just like take a book and read, or if you want a book, we buy it for you, great. Or we send you on a training course, right? Of course, this training course needs to have something to do with your daily work to improve that. So if you're using Spring, right, you probably want to do something with Spring on the training course, right? So this is a little bit like the classical approach of how companies treat this constantly training. Some companies send their people on conferences like your company, or just like you did it on your own, right? But this is a great thing. It's not really something to deep learn things, but more to just like grasp of what's currently trending. Let's give a 50-minute pitch of this new technology so I can decide to dive deeper in later. What I do is actually I listen to podcasts and audiobooks a lot when I commute to work. So I'm commuting to a co-working space each day, or when I stay at home and do home office, I just like do a run. And then I'm also listening to podcasts and audiobooks just to keep up with what's going on, just like to know what is out there. Or you participate in open source projects. If your company use open source technology, maybe they want to spend some time also to contribute back to the open source. But you learn a lot by reading code from others to contribute, get feedback on your code on open source projects. But all these things that I just showed, like book reading, if I just like do it during work time, I'm doing it on my own, and I'm letting the team down, right? I'm letting the team down because I'm just like learning and the team is sprinting, and maybe we don't reach our sprint goals. So we need to think about like how can we learn as a team, right? How can we learn as a team together? So what I did when I was a team lead, I organized brown bags with the team. So we were just doing once a week brown bags. One team member just prepared just like presentation, could be just like 5-10 minutes. And afterwards, we were discussing it. So we were bringing our sandwich to stay with us to work. And we learned something and we discussed it at the end. What we did at MongoDB was we were having a book club. And that was also great because we were reading a chapter from a book each week. And I'm not a big book reader, but I had to read the chapter. And then we were meeting for 1 hour each week, and we were discussing what we just read and our opinions about this. And this was so great. It was just like a great team discussion that we had. It was bonding the team. I had different opinions about the chapter. So this was really great. What I also did was I was taking the team out for 1.5 hours each week, and we just decided to learn some Rust programming. And so we're doing as a team, learned some Rust, and we just did some coding exercises. And after, I don't know, a month or two, we said, okay, great, we figured it out. We know now. We can't use it in production right now, but we get a feeling for the language. Maybe next time we just try some TypeScript or whatever. So organizations should give you the opportunity to learn, because there are some clear goals. They get better products. So maybe next projects you think Rust is a good option, or TypeScript is a great option for us. So let's do that. So your product will improve when your developers grow. Also, you grow the talent of your employees, right? So the employees base, right? You grow the talent, and also you keep your talent, because this is different, right? This is super different than what companies normally offer you. If they say yeah, you get 2 hours a week just to do things with the team, try things out. This is super different, and people stay even though they can't use it really in their day-to-day work. But they know, okay, great. We get the opportunity here to try things out and to really learn something new. Also for of course the people, right? They have some personal learning goals, right? They want to grow themselves, and maybe they want to also look for other opportunities in other companies, right? Are they looking for maybe more money, right? That's more salary is a decent reason to just move to a new job. So what should you learn then if you just want to earn more, right? I did a little bit of research and I looked at some developer jobs. So .NET developer in the London area, right? Average salary, junior, senior, everything, just average, is 58K Great British Pound. Well, it's a decent salary, it's okay. But maybe you want to learn some Clojure, right? So who thinks Clojure developers earn less? It's 1, 2, 3, a few. Who thinks Clojure developer will earn more?
Ooh,
yeah.
Massive majority.
Right. Good. Yeah. So thank you. I'm off learning Clojure now. All right, 90K Great British Pounds. It's a huge salary. It's great. But then I looked at open roles. Maybe not, right? one open position. Maybe not closure. Anyway, so you may want to just like investigate a little more, and then look Rust developer or whatever you like to do, like 77 Great British Pounds and 60 open positions. There are a lot of statistics out there. What's currently trending? What companies are looking for? So Stack Overflow has this developer survey. JetBrains has the state of developer ecosystem, and then there's Manfred, that's a small startup that I worked before, has this developer career report, and that's all like what's currently trending in software development, what technologies are hot, what are not, what are companies looking for. So all these trends. But you shouldn't make your decision just based on, yeah, I can earn 10,000 or 20,000 more if I learn this program. You should always go with what you're passionate about. That will win at the end. So always go with your passion. And then I did a short survey at a conference in Portugal, because I wanted to find out, like, so if you're looking for a new developer, what are you actually looking at? Are you looking at knowledge in the area you're looking for, or what is that? And this came out, right? This came out here. 150 developers answered, and the most thing is soft skills, like communication, good communication skills, critical thinking. All these things are much more important for hiring people, for the hiring managers, than actually how big your Java knowledge is, or your Rust knowledge, or .NET knowledge. So how can we improve on these things? What would you say? Like, how can we just like be better on these things?
One way that's worked for me is mentoring. So I've had a lot of mentors in my career, and I want to kind of mention some of the great things actually that have come out of that. So mentoring is really important. It is a great way to improve your soft skills, but it's a great way to improve all your skills, really. As always, first up, what even is that? You can go on, the internet and get various different descriptions of this. For me, it's an informal, voluntary relationship. That's it. You learn a thing from somebody else. There is no money involved. The mentor shares knowledge, experience, and the mentee learns from that. And usually it's helpful for career progression, because sometimes we can, be a little bit stuck and want to try something new, and we want to break out of that. We want to get better. We want to explore something new. And now I've got that Space the Final Frontier in my head again. But it is a great way to advance your career. But first, you need to identify what you want to be mentored in. And there's quite a lot to choose from, surprisingly. A side project. It may be that you have this mysterious 20% time and they actually let you have it. And you can do a side project. And that can be something you can be mentored in. Maybe somebody else has done something. Maybe you've never done a hackathon before and your company's running one this year. And you want to take part and you want to learn about that whole ecosystem. Creating content. I've already talked about this one, and I could probably talk about this one a lot more. But suffice to say, it's a very cool thing to be mentored in, because we're not born great at creating content. We don't wake up one day and write a blog that is amazing or do a video that is amazing. We all have to learn, and we all have to start somewhere. So that's a great thing to be mentored in. Contributing to open source. I was mentored in this by my colleague, Marit. She can't be here today. But she mentored me in contributing to open source, because I hadn't done it before. I didn't really know what I was doing. And she really helped me. So a great way to learn as well. It can be a way of working. This is not what we typically think about when we think about mentoring, but it can be a way of working. If you've worked in a few places, you've probably figured out that agile does not mean the same thing anywhere. So, you can go and work in a different place, you can learn how things work, and you can, again, get a better understanding. Using a technology, this is the one that people generally think about when they think about mentoring. They're like, oh yeah, I'm going to be mentored in Java or Rust or Clojure, apparently. Conferences and public speaking. One of the reasons that I'm stood here today and haven't run away, screaming, is Sven. As I said, I haven't done a lot of public speaking. So, Sven, will you help me? Will you mentor me? Will you co-create a presentation with me? And he said yes. And you've learned from this, right?
Yeah, you should have fishes in your slides, I think. That's a thing.
But yeah, I've been mentored in a lot of these, and I'm much more knowledgeable as a result. So what do you need to do to be mentored? It's really very simple. You just need to work out what you want to be mentored in, so what your goal is, and how much time you have. And you're probably quite time poor. Most of us are quite time poor between families and jobs and other commitments. So be mindful of that. So what do you want to be mentored in? How much time have you got? Go search. See the fish work. Find a potential mentor. And there are lots and lots of places that you can do that. Communities, once again, somewhere like this is a great place to search for a mentor. You can ask through your networks. You can ask through your places of work. You can even ask just, blindly. But if you're going to do that, if you're going to approach somebody that, you haven't met, introduce yourself, tell them what you're looking for, tell them why you've selected that person, ask them if they'd be, kind enough to give you their time, because time is a gift. And you can start looking, right? And a lot of community groups, they have a kind of meet a mentor program as well. So they might have a Slack channel or something where you can say, oh yeah, I want to go and meet a mentor and find out a little bit more about that. My advice would be, don't just focus on one person. Actually reach out to quite a few people and see who comes back to you, because you're going to get some people who are just too busy. And then have a conversation, narrow it down. What are you looking for? When do you want to meet? How long do you want the informal mentoring to last? Mentoring can be, 5 weeks. It can be a whole year. It can be a whole conference season in this case. And just be willing and ready to answer their questions as well. And that's it. It's that simple. Talk, grow, mentee learns, mentor learns. I had to pay him to say that, but he's learned. And it doesn't stop there, right? You don't need to limit yourself to one mentor. You can have all the mentors. You can have as many mentors as you have time for. But again, just keep in mind, don't overstretch yourself, especially when it comes to time. So, what do you want to be mentored in? That's my question that I want to, leave you with for this section is, what do you want to learn? Maybe it's not a technology. Maybe it's something under the surface. Maybe it's a soft skill, right? There's no shame in admitting that we're not all, Linus Torvald, right? He was like, no, this isn't for me. And he went off and, learned some skills around the area. So what do you want to be mentored in? Now, we've got about 7-8 minutes left, so it's my final apology of this conference talk, because I'm sorry for what I'm about to inflict upon you. But before we leave you, I am going to hand over to Sven for...
That's my favorite part of the talk. Mythbusters! Okay, so let's talk about some career stopper mythbusters, right? We want to bust some myths here. So we have some roles here that are just like things that happen in some people's career, and we want to just like find out, is that a real career stopper or not? Or is that a myth, right? So this is how mythbusters work. So let's start with the first one, the lazy one, right? The one that stays just like in a single position, doesn't just like progress into a new role or whatever. It's just like staying there, doing a job that is mediocre.
Sven, sorry, but are you saying that staying in a job is bad? Because I stayed in one job for 9 years. I was happy. I liked my work. I was well rewarded for my work. It was right for me, and I stayed there because I got career progression. I loved my team. Everything was good. Are you saying that's bad?
I said that, but I think you're right? So sometimes things are more important in life than just like your career, right? I can see that. Like family or so, it's good to just like take it a little bit like slower on the career path, and then I see that.
As long as you're happy, right?
Yeah.
You've got to be happy. That's the most important thing.
Really important. Okay. What will you call that? Myth?
Busted. Thank you.
Busted.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Yes, playing along.
All
right. What's the next one, Sven? Oh, the drifter. Okay. This is the person that doesn't really, get hold of their career and go, this is my career, we're off now. This is the person that kind of lets opportunities pass them by and doesn't really kind of says, oh, there'll be another promotion or good things will happen without any input from themselves. And, you know,
Yeah, but you know what? So some people are a little bit like not good at self-promoting themselves. Like they do a great job,
that's true.
but they don't say like, hey, look at what I've done here. Look, cool.
That's
here.
true.
This is all mine.
Yeah.
And some people are just like, it's not their thing to just like stand up and say, great, I did a great job here.
Yeah, yeah. And this reminds me of a saying that I think some of you in the audience will have heard, that good work speaks for itself. It doesn't. It does not speak for itself. So if you are doing good work, make sure you tell the people that need to know that you are doing good work. This one's kind of a double-edged one, isn't it?
I would say if you just like have a great team, a great manager that sees what you're doing and promotes you because of that, that's great. But it doesn't have to be. Sometimes you may want to just like talk out loud what you
I'm kind of on the fence.
Yeah, it's a little bit on the fence, right? So what we call it? Plausible. Yeah, could be a career stopper.
Yeah.
All right.
What's next?
Next is the lonely wolf. The one that sits in the corner, right? And just like writes code all the time, doesn't speak to anyone, and just like commits it. No code reviews whatsoever, no soft skills.
I've worked with that person.
What's that?
I've worked with that person.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have, actually. I do too, yeah. But
we work together, just checking.
No, okay. It's not. No. But yeah, there's really a career stopper if you just don't just like have social skills and work together as a team.
Yeah, I think the skill, the communication, the speaking, the listening, the empathy, the being human side of things is absolutely critical, because we're a team, right? You work in teams, we work in teams.
Yeah, super. We can't write code on our own, or just like not a lot of people can actually, but we work as a team. Most of us work as teams of teams, and we need to communicate, of course. Yeah. So, career stopper?
Definitely.
Yes, confirmed.
Yep.
All right. So, no matter what your motivation is to move your career forward or not to move your career forward, right? Just like if it's like you want to have a higher salary, if you just want to, I don't know, work for another company that looks more shiny, or like you want to work for them, another culture, or you just like want to work for another product or with another technology, whatever your reasons are, just like make conscious decision where you want to go, and then move towards that, or make a conscious decision to say, okay, it's not the right time for me to move on right now. That's also. But just don't sit there and just like think it's coming, right? Hope is not a strategy. Or if we want to put it in other words, it's like own your career and don't just let it happen, right? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.